Hey guys, what's going on? My name is Arbuckle. Welcome back to another video. Today we're back on State of Decay 2, and I wanted to share with you guys a few different ways, some tips and tricks, if you will, on how to cure the blood plague in the game. Now, for those of you that have been on the game for a while, you know that the blood plague is very important and plays a crucial role in the game, not just because of the plague hearts and destroying them will help you win the game, but because the plague zombies can actually give you and your fellow community members the plague, therefore risking dying. So it's very important that you have the cure to the plague, especially when you first start off a brand new community. You're going to have a character that automatically gets the plague. It's just part of the game's narrative, and you have to be able to find the cure so that you can heal them. But it happens a lot in the game, and a lot of times you're not really expecting it, whether it be your player that you're playing with. Maybe you're trying to destroy a plague heart and you get attacked by all different directions. Maybe that happens to one of your community members that you take out with you. Whatever the case is, there's probably going to be a situation where you're not expecting to get the plague, but you end up getting it anyways. So there's a small meter on the side of your screen that actually shows you kind of like what level you are of contracting the plague. And you want to pay attention to that at all times. The higher it gets, obviously, the closer you are to getting the plague. And so there's 4 different ways that you can actually handle the blood plague, some of which will cure it completely, some of which will take it down. There's a couple different things that you can do. The first thing that you can do is you can stabilize whoever is infected. So this is going to be 3 meds a day. Obviously, you have to build an infirmary. I want to point that out before I get into the rest of these. You have to have an infirmary to do all 4 of these. So if you don't already have one, build one. All you need is a small space. Very easy to do. But again, you need to stabilize whoever it is. Basically, all this does is this kind of stalls the blood plague from killing them. So originally, when your first character contracts the plague, they're going to have a little timer on their screen that says, this is how long until they die or turn into a zombie. So if you actually stabilize them, you put them in a bed in the infirmary, you'll buy them a whole lot of time and buy yourself time to go out and get the cure if you don't already have it. So the only issue with this is that it's 3 meds per day that it's going to cost you to keep them there. So if you're planning on keeping there for a long time, you want to make sure that you have plenty of meds. I'd highly recommend not doing it. I mean, I think the original time is like an hour and 43 minutes game time, not real life time, which is plenty of time. All you have to do is go out and get like 5 different plague samples to bring back. But it's very, very simple to create the cure, so I wouldn't recommend stabilizing them unless you absolutely have to. The second way is to what I just said, craft the blood plague cure. Again, this is 5 plague samples, very easy to do. There's a couple different ways you can do that. I'll get into that here in just a second, but it's 5 plague samples to craft the blood plague cure that only works for 1 person. So if you want to cure 2 people, obviously you got to have 10 plague samples. The third way is that you can treat the slightly infected. So if someone is infected, their meter has gone up, but they're not completely infected, risking dying in the next hour. What you can do is you can treat them at your facility. It's only 3 plague samples, so it's a little bit cheaper, but it completely downgrades their meter. So if they are close to contracting the plague, if you treat them, they'll lose their meter and they'll go back to normal. But you can also do this by resting. So when you really think about playing the game, all you have to do to rest is switch characters. So it's actually smarter to just switch characters instead of wasting plague samples to treat them immediately. So if they haven't already contracted the plague, I highly recommend just switching players. Let them sleep, let them rest, and they'll get back to normal. And the 4th thing that you can do is one that I've made the mistake of accidentally doing twice when I first started the game, and that's to kill/exile the infected. So you can either kill the person or you can exile them out of the group. I accidentally killed 2 people in my group because I was trying to switch to their character too quickly, and where the muscle memory where the switch character button is, I accidentally shot them in the head twice. So try not to make that mistake. Either way, whatever you do, if you kill them or exile them, it may sound like a very easy way to get out of it, but it's a morale killer, so it will hurt the rest of your community. It'll make everybody sad, and then you risk people leaving. So it's better to take care of the people that are infected rather than to kick them out or kill them. So like I said earlier, you have to have an infirmary to be able to do all this, so I highly recommend building it. So the way to get the plague samples, like I was talking about earlier, there's 2 different ways. You can destroy plague hearts, which generally have 4 to 5 plague samples. But this can be very, very difficult and time consuming. The easiest way to do this is just to kill zombies. So random plague zombies will drop 1 random plague sample. So not every plague zombie is going to drop the sample. But if you go out and you kill like 5, you're going to get at least 1. So if I were you, I'd just drive around, especially at night. There's plague zombies everywhere, especially near the hearts. So I would recommend just driving around the hearts, killing all the zombies, running over them with your car, getting out, getting the plague sample, drive a little bit away, come back. It's really simple. You just kind of do it over and over again until you get enough. But that's the different ways to get your plague hearts. So if you upgrade your infirmary to level 2, if you guys didn't already know, you can upgrade all the different things around your base. If you upgrade your infirmary to level 2, you can create a bulk plague cure package, which is basically 4 cures in once. I think it's like 20 blood plague samples and 8 med resources. So it's really not anything too special. You can trade it, I believe, for influence points. But when you take it apart, it's really only 4 plague cures, and again, it's 20 plague samples. So if you do it singular, it still turns out to be about the same. So it's just kind of a cool bundle that you can do if you're trying to trade. You want to get a lot of influence points, but if you upgrade to your infirmary level 2, this is something that you can do. The other way that you can go all about this, and that I would highly recommend if you get a big enough base and you've progressed in the game to a point where you can do this, is to build a field hospital. Now, to be able to build the field hospital, you have to meet a few requirements. First thing is you have to have a large slot. So if you already have a large slot filled, or you don't have one at all in your base, then unfortunately you're not going to be able to do this. But if you do have a big enough base, or you have room and a large slot open, all you need as well is a sheriff to be your leader. So whoever your leader is, pick the sheriff, and you'll have the opportunity to build the field hospital. Basically what this is, it's just an upgraded infirmary. It allows you to do a lot more. There's 3 beds instead of 1. So if for some reason 3 people in your community have the plague, you can lay them all down and keep them alive. That rarely happens though. And then there's one thing that field hospital has, aside from everything that the infirmary has. You can make the plague, you can treat people, you can do all the same stuff that you can with the infirmary. But with this, it also comes with a plague treatment for all option, which basically you create this and it treats your entire community. It doesn't cure them. So let's say you have 9 people in your community and they all have some, like a little bit of plague, like their meter is a little bit up. They've all been hit. If you use this, it treats everyone in your community. They all go back down to 0. Again, it's another one of those things where you go back down to 0 if you rest long enough anyways. So I'm not necessarily sure if it's worth it. If you have a lot of characters that are borderline and close and you need to use them quicker, maybe this will be worth it if you have a lot of meds to spare. But it's just kind of one of those advantages that the field hospital has. One of those cool things that you can use if you end up building this thing. But anyway, guys, that's going to be how you destroy the blood plague, or how you cure the blood plague in State of Decay 2, rather. To destroy it, I have more videos on my channel. You can go check those out. I'll make sure to leave links in the description down below. Again, I hope you guys did enjoy it. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Can we be friends?